I have more than 400 hours in Stardew Valley, but I have never once reached perfection. So, in this video, I'm going to create a new save file and try to beat Stardew Valley, but with a twist. The random wheel shall dictate how we shall play this game. But Orange, what do you mean by that? Well, I have noticed that in my countless save files, I always do the same things. I always choose the same farm, choose the same profession, and basically do the same thing all over again. So why don't we spice things up and let the wheel of fate decide? First off, let us spin the wheel to decide if we're going to do a vanilla or modded gameplay. And vanilla it is! From there, we shall spin for our focused profession. By that, I mean if I spawn for a farmer, then I'm gonna focus on planting and selling crops. If I spawn for a fisher, then I'm gonna focus on selling fish. Basically, my entire farm shall revolve around this profession. So, for the list of professions, we have farmer, obviously you'll be selling crops. Fisher will be selling fish, raw and smoked fish. Miner will be selling rocks, minerals, and geodes. Adventurer will be focused on selling monster loot, weapons, rings, and footwear. Forager will be focused on selling forageables like mushrooms. And this also includes wood, as chopping trees increases the foraging skill, and also the beach forageables as long as they are not acquired through fishing or crab pots. Rancher will be selling animal products including mayonnaise, cheese, cloth, and truffles. Chef will be selling cooked food. Orchardist will be selling fruits from fruit trees only, tea saplings, tree tap products like maple syrup, and flowers and bees, just so there's more stuff to do. Archaeologists will be focused on selling artifacts including bones, and the artisan focused on selling artisan goods that are not included in the other profession. Spinning the wheel got us the rancher profession first. That means our top priority is to build a silo and a chicken coop right away. But just because I spawned to this profession doesn't mean I can sell stuff from the other professions. I will be having free Wednesdays where I can sell anything that I want because, to be honest with you, I don't think I can purchase a single tree as an orchardist if I don't sell anything else in the early game. Besides that, each profession has a goal to earn at least 100,000 gold before I can spin for another profession. Basically, I will be tracking how much I earn from anything related to that profession. So if I'm a fisher, only fish sales count to this tracker. That way, we can explore all other professions. Next, let us quickly spin for our farm map from among the 8 farm maps available at the start of the game. Spinning the wheel got us a Riverland farm. Well, looks like this is the end of the video, guys. Bye! Just kidding. Well, I'm a rancher in the Riverland farm. Great! This is fine, I'm fine, everything's fine. I've never played with the Riverland farm before, so this will probably be a fun challenge. And finally, we will be spinning for our spouse. Of course, this has to be done. I have listed every single marriageable candidate and roommate in our wheel of fate, and we shall let the wheel decide. And who shall I go for? We have Elliot! Sweet summer writer and lover and romantic Elliot. I actually like Elliot, but I have never married him once because I'm actually a Sam girly. But it's fine, I'm really happy to have Elliot for this save file. Oh, and I guess let me quickly spin if we're going to do the community center Georgia route, but I went silent there for a minute. Whew! I really don't want to sell my soul right now. With all of that out of the way, it's time for us to start a new game. I started out by creating a new character and named her Ginger. I was gonna name her Orange, but I don't want her name and the name of my farm to be exactly the same. Although, now that I think about it, it doesn't seem strange for my farm to be just my name, right? Nevertheless, I think Ginger is close enough color to Orange, so Ginger it is. I selected the Riverland farm, of course not out of personal preference, and went off to a rough start in my newfound land, starting at Year 1, Spring. Day 1. Like everyone else, I woke up in my little nautical cabin with a free smoker, one of the perks of choosing the Riverland farm. I started the day by cleaning up the farm. This is actually my first time playing on the Riverland farm, so I was shocked to see how little land there is. Man, Grandpa scammed me with this one. Nevertheless, I pressed on, planted my starter parsnips, crafted my first chest to store some knickknacks, and then went into town to meet as many villagers as I could. As a rancher, our main priority will be to buy a silo and a coop as soon as possible. But since we're not allowed to sell anything else, we'll have to rely on quests for some extra cash. That's why I'll be regularly checking and completing quests. I'd also like to clarify that anything we buy to help with ranching, like a chicken coop or a barn, must be paid for using profits earned from eggs and other animal products. Since we don't have money yet, we'll treat the early purchase as a kind of loan which we'll need to pay back along with the 100,000 gold objective. Don't worry, I have a spreadsheet ready just to keep track of all that. I slept early since I've got no energy left and leveled up my forging skill right away. Wow, chopping those trees and almost passing out really paid off. The next day, Willie sent me a letter asking me to visit him at the beach, which I did after watering my crops and cleaning up more of my farm. While breaking rocks, I got my first geode and even made another chest to keep things organized. Just a fair warning, I'm a huge hoarder, so don't scream at me when I start filling my chest with random stuff, okay? What can I say? Stardew Valley always seems to ask for the most random items at the most random times. When I went to the beach to meet Willie, he kindly gave me his old fishing rod. I immediately cast it into the sea, but I had forgotten that I'd already used up a lot of my energy cleaning the farm. To keep going, I ate my first sardine, which gave me just enough energy for a few more casts. On one of those casts, I caught a sea jelly, which I ate, and it gave me a bit more energy along with a +1 fishing ball. Normally, I like keeping jellies, but since tomorrow is a free Wednesday, I wanted to stock up on some more fish to sell. Later, I went to Pierce and bought a bean starter, a potato seed, and 2 cauliflower seeds, which we'll be needing later for the community center. Since I didn't have enough energy to plant them, I decided to call it an early day. Day 3 is our first rainy day, and also our first free Wednesday. I planted the bean starter, potato seed, and cauliflower seeds I bought yesterday, then spent some time organizing my stuff. You'll be seeing a lot of that in the series. Afterward, I headed up to the mountains to meet the Matthews, but it was too early. So instead, I went fishing in the nearby lake where I caught my first chub, bullhead, carp, largemouth bass, and even some algae, which earned me the Fisherman achievement, despite not even being a fisherman. At 11:40 a.m., I finally went inside the carpenter's shop to meet the Matthews. Sebastian wasn't in his room, but then I remembered he usually heads to the beach when it rains. I know where Sebi is. Sebi is out there in the ocean, being all emo and stuff. Singing songs during of the early 2000s emo phase. I'm not gonna sing that because I don't wanna get copyrighted. On the way, I picked up a quest from Harvey to catch some sunfish. I also needed to meet Pam, but for the love of all things pale, I couldn't find her anywhere early in the day. Is Pam here? Nope, just Penny washing the dishes. Where is Pam? Oh, and I noticed this dog's name on this sign is written in blood red. Yep, Stardew Valley. Wholesome farming simulator with just a sprinkle of demonic dog lore. I tried catching the sunfish in the town river, but since it was raining, well, no sun means no sunfish. So I went home, sold some fish, and came back to the river to try again. Of course, I checked Pam's house again, too. And of course, she wasn't there. Where's your mother? The mother that you don't like. While fishing, I caught my first smallmouth bass and gasped. I was supposed to... Oh yeah, I was not supposed to say that. Oopsie. While fishing, I caught my first smallmouth bass and... a catfish! I caught a catfish on the 3rd day of spring, year 1. That's the fastest I've ever caught one, and I wasn't even trying. Later, I witnessed Mayor Lewis following Leah like a total creep, and then finally, I found Pam drunk in the saloon. Thank goodness. Do you have any idea how long I've been looking for you, madam? Talking to her finally completed the introductions quest. After that, I organized my stuff, sold more fish, and then called it a night. I've also leveled up my fishing skill overnight. Day 4, Clint greeted us right on our doorstep first thing in the morning, and while I could smell his foul odor right through the screen, I'm just grateful that he provided me with a blueprint to craft my own furnace. Gosh, the way he just went up on my face first thing in the morning is making me uncomfortable. I checked my mail only to get a spam mail from Pierre. Look, I went off the grid, got myself a farm so I could avoid all these darn advertisements, and you're telling me that they do this in paper too? Please tell me there is an unsubscribe from mailing list button. I watered my crops as usual and picked out a daffodil to give to Haley for the How to Win Friends quest. But of course, I need to finish the quest for sunfish that Harvey asked for yesterday. Since the sun is up, I went to the river outside of Haley's house to fish and wait for her to go out. Nothing to see here, just fishing. I'm totally not stalking her or something. Besides, I'm quite surprised that fish even survive here, considering it's right next to the source. But then again, some carp did evolve to be mutant carp, so... At 9:40 AM, I went inside Haley's house to see if she was out of her room already, but like most ladies, she spent too much time in front of the mirror that I decided to just go straight for Harvey and gave him the sunfish he asked for, whatever he needs it for. The man paid me a measly 90 gold despite him being the sole doctor in the village. What a cheapskate. He must have earned a lot by now with how regularly the villagers visit him. Surely he could pay for more. Though, one could argue that I literally just fished a sunfish just within town next to the source, but still, I deserve better pay. Since Haley would not come out of her room, I decided to go home and pick up a wild horseradish to give to Linus. Since the man doesn't have doors, he can't shut me out. Besides, I like Linus because he gives us the sashimi recipe at 3 hearts, which is a very good early game food source. I cleared some more debris and trees in the future ranch area and raced against time before Robin closes so I can check out how much a coop and a silo costs. A coop costs 4,000 gold, an amount we certainly don't have, and a silo costs only 100 gold, but the clay will probably be the most troubling part of this construction. I guess I need to focus on that in the next few days. I admired Robin and Demetrius just casually dating by the cliff outside of their house. Aww, the two of them are dating in the mountainside. It makes me want to push them. Hey Maru, your parents are dating like teenagers. Do I sound bitter? Since I have nothing left to do, I went to town and lucky for me, I managed to find and greet our beloved crush, Elliot. It's funny that my name is Ginger because it's like he's calling me some names, like how people call redheads gingers. Maybe I should change my hair color to be more accurate. I found some daffodils in town and gave one to Haley. Since I have no more energy, I went to the Cindersap forest and picked up some spring onions and other spring forageables. I also found an ancient doll by hoeing some wormies in the forest. I'm not gonna donate this doll to the museum yet because there's a special something that needs an ancient doll to get later. It's getting late, so I need to go home now. I tried to walk up to the farm through the path from the forest, but I got blocked by lots of debris. Since I don't have energy left to clear this debris, I had no choice but to take the long way home. I really don't want to pass out now since I don't even have enough money to pay the cheapskate Harvey. Thankfully, I managed to reach my house just before midnight and my wallet is safe. Day 5 was huge. I adopted a cat, which I named Garfield. I mean, what better name is there for an orange cat, right? Jojo also reminded me that their drilling operation was totally legal. Yeah, surely it is. Which of course means the mines are now open. I harvested my first parsnips, did more cleanup around the farm, especially clearing the path to the forest so I won't have to take another detour next time, and then headed into the mines where I picked up the world's most useless weapon, the rusty sword. Seriously, Marlon? You sent me into a monster-infested mine with just a rusty sword? I've seen the shiny stuff hanging in your guild. Imagine if I actually bit the dust down there. Do you know what that is? Negligence. I could drag you to Mayor Lewis's office and file the first lawsuit Pelican Town has ever seen. You'd be the headline. Local guildmaster sued for improper adventure equipment. How does that sound? Yeah, if only Mayor Lewis were not corrupt himself. I only made it to floor 3 before I decided to leave because my inventory was full. Man, these games always have inventory problems. On the bright side, I found some items worth donating to the museum. On my way to the town, I accepted Pam's quest for a refined quartz, then donated an earth crystal to the museum. To solve my biggest problem, which is space, I placed a chest outside the mine so I could drop off items while digging deeper. After that, I went back in and reached floor 5, marking a checkpoint on the elevator and completing the Explore the Mines quest. Naturally, I decided to keep going. Thankfully, I found a wood club, which was a much needed upgrade from the rusty sword. Plus, it even has the Slime Slayer enchantment. I also planted carrots for some early game food. Afterward, I gave Garfield some pets and went to sleep. Overnight, I leveled up both my farming and foraging skills. Day 6. Marlon gave us the initiation quest, which was to slay 10 slimes. Looks like it's a mines day today. But before that, of course, I watered my crops and didn't forget to fill Garfield's bowl. On the way to the mines, I found a leak. Not a water leak, but a vegetable leak. The wood club with the Slime Slayer enchantment was very helpful for these quests. I also gathered as much copper as I could to craft a furnace for the Forging Ahead quest. Along the way, I found a quartz, which I'll smelt into refined quartz for Pam. Is it worth it? Nah, it doesn't really pay much. But I'm trying to complete as many quests as possible since I want to rack up those prize tickets. Those tickets are my ticket to Stardew Tea, which is my ticket to Elliot's heart. Yep, that's the game plan for now. I'm also hurrying to reach the floors where doggies spawn because I can hold them for clay more easily. In case you didn't know, back in 1.5, there was a strategy called clay farming where you'd hold tillable areas in a specific pattern to guarantee clay. Concerned Ape patched this one out in 1.6, so unless you toggle use legacy randomization at the start of the game, you can't do this anymore. For now, the easiest way to farm clay is just hoeing patches in the mines. I finally reached floor 10 and got some leather boots. At least now, I've got a little extra protection. Afterward, I went home, crafted a furnace, smelted the quartz for Pam, and also smelted 5 copper bars for the silo. Earlier, I had picked up a topaz in the mine, so I ran to the museum to donate it, but Gunther had already closed shop. Fine, I'm just gonna turn the topaz tomorrow, that's fine. It's not like I'm mad or anything, it's not like I'm sad or anything. I blame Pam. Let's normalize blaming Pam. Feeling dejected, I went to the startup saloon where I found Pam drunk again and gave her the refined quartz she wanted. At least I got 150 gold for my trouble. Finally, I went to sleep and leveled up my mining skill to level 1. Day 7. I woke up and tuned into our favorite show, The Queen of Sauce, where we learned how to cook stir fry. I really wish real life worked like that. Like, just watch a cooking show and instantly know the recipe. I don't even have a kitchen yet. As usual, I watered my crops in Garfield's bowl, picked up some daffodils at the bus stop, and accepted a quest from Demetrius to catch 2 smallmouth bass for a prize ticket. And we were just talking about prize tickets yesterday. Speak of the ticket and it shall appear. I finally donated the topaz and amethyst to the museum, then went home to grab my fishing rod. I tried fishing the nearby river, but honestly, I don't trust the farm's rivers, so I decided to head back to town instead. Demetrius is always asking us to help lessen the fish population, as if all our fishing isn't already wrecking the ecosystem. But hey, if it pays, I'm willing to do it. That's kind of a dangerous statement, actually. Folks, don't be easily swayed by money. Bribery is not the way, okay? And look, we've finally unlocked the community center. I read the knitting room scroll. Well, read is a strong word. It's gibberish for now. Then I said hi to Haley. Hi, Haley. Outside the game instead of in-game. After that, I caught the 2 smallmouth bass and even pulled a jade from a treasure chest, which I donated straight to the museum. I ran into an angry Maru. Are you mad, baby girl? And then talked to Demetrius to claim my reward, 100 gold and a prize ticket. I immediately submitted the ticket into the ticket machine. I was just loading some more prizes into this machine here. It's a new program I've come up with. Wait, Louis is a programmer? And got 12 carrot seeds. Looks what's next. Is that an orange tree I see? I think that's perfect for our farm named Orange Farm. I quickly planted the carrot seeds back at the farm. Next up, the mines. I went digging for 5 more clay. Come on, give me some clay. Yes! Which means I now have everything I need for the silo. Along the way, I also found a rusty spoon and a dwarf scroll 4. Before heading to bed, I chopped down a tree just to burn up the last of my energy. That night, I leveled up to level 3 fishing skill and level 1 combat skill. Day 8. It seems Robin jumped on the bandwagon and advertised her house upgrade services right after trying to smooth things over from insulting my house on the very first day. Robin's definitely learned a thing or two from here in Georgia, I see. The wizard also sent me some wizardly looking mail, inviting me to visit his tower and forest. So, I watered my crops as usual and gathered some fiber to craft a scarecrow, only to realize I already had the 65 fiber needed.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
I thought it was 100. I must have mixed it up with the 100 stone requirement for the silo. I found Grandpa's grave and, of course, totally did not forget to water Garfield's bowl. I got to water the bowl again. Then it was off to get high with the wizard and his forest magic. Enjoy me humming along to the background music in the wizard tower. Bang, 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 bang. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, 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 bang. Only to be flabbergasted when I saw the wizard holding a Junimo captive. After getting all oozy with the wizard, I can finally read the scrolls in the community center. On the way out, I ran into Jazz, and this time, I actually talked to her properly instead of just saying hi outside the game. Back at the farm, I finally crafted the scarecrow, which I could have crafted much earlier, and placed it near my crops to keep crows away. Crafting the scarecrow also completed the advancement quest, so that's pretty neat. Next, I went to the community center to complete the spring foraging bundle, earning 30 spring seeds in exchange. After that, I accepted a quest from Demetrius to catch a largemouth bass, donated the dwarf scroll 4 and rusty spoon to the museum, and collected 9 cauliflower seeds as a reward. I went home and planted both the spring seeds and the cauliflower seeds, which drained most of my energy. Look at little Garfield lying on the field. So cute! On the way to the mountain, I picked up a wild horseradish and immediately gifted it to Linus. Then I visited the Adventurers Guild to complete the initiation quest. After that, I tried fishing for a largemouth bass, but failed miserably. So, I went home, sad and dejected from my lack of largemouth bass, and slept my sorrows away. Day 9, and you guessed it, I watered the crops, as usual. Replenishing my watering can is easy when you're surrounded by water. Honestly, I'm still getting used to the lack of land area. I really wish we could get some floating planters or something. Oh, and I finally harvested my very first potato. Garfield's bowl is watered too. Garfield, you should love me because I did not take care of my pets in other save files just like you. I picked up a leek and hoed some wormies in the back mountain path, which gave me 3 carrot seeds. I also spotted a bubble fishing spot in the lake, but it disappeared before I got to it. What a tease. Anyway, I caught a largemouth bass, immediately delivered it to Demetrius, and completed the quest for 100 gold, officially putting us at 2,000 gold. After that, I went to the mines with the goal of clearing every single rock to gather the 200 stones needed for both the silo and the coop. On the way, I ignored more bubbles because I'm not a fisher, and I've had enough bubble-related heartbreak for one day. After a short descent into the mines, here's the haul. A dwarf scroll 1, a cherry bomb, some slime, 2 earth crystals, 5 coal, 22 copper ore, 3 quartz, 4 bug meat, and 136 stone. Not bad at all. I left the cherry bomb I found in the chest outside the mines, then went back to plant the carrot seeds I picked up earlier. Today, I also learned that watering only costs 2 energy, but wow, that adds up fast. I ended the day with a shiny new level 2 mining skill. Day 10. The best day of the week? Our second free Wednesday. I watered and harvested all my carrots, then finally asked Robin to build me a silo. At last, the first milestone toward becoming a full-fledged rancher has been achieved. But then, it hit me. I can't actually afford a coop yet. Lucky for us, Free Wednesday came to the rescue. I spent the whole day fishing and ended up selling the fish, some parsnips, and even a bit of slime goop for 2,300 gold. That brought me up to the 4,300 gold total, which is more than enough for a coop tomorrow. Plus, all that fishing leveled me up to fishing level 4. Day 11. I checked my mail and turns out Robin wants me to find her axe. She could have just told me directly. She's literally right behind my house working at the silo. Instead, she writes it on a piece of paper and somehow gets it delivered. Wait, where did they even post their mail? And why can't I write my own letters? Is Mayor Lewis the one secretly delivering everyone's mail? Anyway, since Robin is busy working hard on my silo, I figured I'd help up in my own way. I spent the day chopping trees to collect the 300 wood needed for the coop. That random cherry tree over there is useless. Later, I headed to the forest and stumbled upon some kids hanging around the dirty sewer. Apparently, a ghost lives there and it spooked them. They roped me into their funny business, hiding behind me, while I, the responsible adult, bravely marched up to the sewer gate to investigate. Turns out, the only thing I scared away was the kids themselves. I picked up a horseradish and a dandelion, then grabbed some spring onions I'd spotted earlier. I even said hi to Leia before finally finding Robin's axe, conveniently sitting nearby. Since Robin's working right behind my house, I figured I could just head it back immediately. But nope, she wouldn't take it. Can't talk to you? Oh no, I can't talk to you. Oh well, tomorrow it is. All the chopping paid off though, as I reached level 3 in the foraging skill. Day 12. Tomorrow's the Egg Festival, but today is all about chickens. I watered the crops as usual, harvested another batch of carrots, and boom! The silo was finally done. That meant it was time for the next step. Operation Chicken Coop. I asked Robin to construct a coop since I can finally afford it. At last, I'm no longer a rancher in name only. But the next step in this operation is, well, obviously chickens. Each one cost 800 gold, but I was still 500 gold short. No matter though, a coop takes 3 days to build, 4 if you count Robin taking the day off for festivals, so I've got plenty of time to earn the cash. Robin helped me out a bit by paying 250 gold for finding her axe, which brought me a little closer to my goal. I also gave a horseradish to Linus and rabbled a bit about counting chickens or something. Soon we'll be able to earn money on a daily basis with the eggs that our future chicken will lay. So I'm counting my eggs without the chicken, or however that saying goes. I ended the day in the mines but ran out of energy before reaching floor 15. Day 13. Today is a big day! It's Egg Festival Day! This day was practically made for me, the lover of eggs, so of course I wasn't going to miss it. It's also the one and only day I can get my favorite hat in the entire game, the straw hat. Almost every character I've ever played in Stardew Valley has worn this hat. It's basically part of my identity at this point. But first, I harvested a green bean, which means I now have everything I need for the spring crop bundle. I should really submit this to the community center tomorrow. Spoiler, she forgot to submit the spring crop bundle the next day. While waiting for the egg festival to start, I did a little fishing. Is that a chub? Yes it is! I hate chub. So boring. At 9:30, I finally arrived at the festival and made sure to talk to everyone, except Pierre since he was stuck behind his stall and the wizard who was hiding somewhere unreachable. Editing Orange here, after reviewing the footage, I realized you can actually talk to Pierre if you go behind Harvey's clinic. I knew that, but I forgot because I'm so used to playing the Stardew Valley Expanded, where Pierre is more easily accessible. Anyway, back to the regular program. Normally, I'd buy a ton of strawberries here, but I didn't have enough money. And besides, I can't sell fruit unless it's Wednesday, so no point this time. And then, it was time for the egg hunt! Let's count how many eggs I managed to snag. First, a blue egg near the fence outside the graves, another blue egg down by the big tree near the river, a green egg near the sewer, another egg by the big tree and bush just outside the graveyard, an orange egg behind the middle tombstone, a yellow egg on the bridge going to the beach, a blue egg behind the bush near the bridge to the museum, a green egg at the back of Mayor Lewis's truck, a blue egg behind Mayor Lewis's house, and the last one, a blue egg at the edge of the fence near the graveyard across from Mayor Lewis's trash. That's a total of 10 eggs, which means I won the Egg Festival and got my beloved straw hat! And most importantly, I beat Abigail! Booyah! Booyah, Abigail! I immediately put on my straw hat, did a bit of late night fishing after the festival, and then went to bed. Day 14. It's a rainy Sunday, so I got up and tuned in to our favorite show, The Queen of Sauce, where I learned the coleslaw recipe. I then went to check if Robin had actually shown up for work today. I can't afford another day off, Robin. I mean, I'm one missed appointment away from suing you for false advertising. Since it's raining, my plan was to fish for an eel, which only shows up during rainy spring days at the ocean. So on my way to the beach, I stopped at the bulletin board and noticed it's Haley's birthday. I also accepted Pam's request for yet another refined quartz. Seriously, what is she doing with all them? I went home to grab a daffodil for Haley, but since it was still too early, I went straight to the beach first. I picked up a mussel and an oyster, then started fishing. The problem is, it was still too early for eels to show up. So I just let fate decide what fish would bite. At 11 a.m., I tried checking if Haley was out of her room so I could give her the birthday gift, but nope, the lady was stuck staring at herself in the mirror again. Honestly, I wonder if she ever leaves her room on rainy days. Maybe she's just like me. I headed back home to store the fish I caught earlier and make space in my very tiny inventory. I also grabbed the refined quartz I smelted earlier, then went out to look for Pam. Now, where is Pam? I checked the saloon, but I guess it was still too early for her to get wasted. I checked her trailer and of course, saw Penny washing the dishes again. How many plates did two people even use? Then I thought, Pam believes in Yoba, the divine deity of this world, and since it's a Sunday, maybe she's at the chapel inside Pierre's store? But no, Mass was already over. Does she go to the clinic then? I know she has a regular checkup, but nope. No Pam, no Harvey, and even no Maru. So then, where does she go at the time of the day? I decided to check on Haley again, and this time she was in her kitchen. Perfect. I gave her the daffodil and wished her a happy birthday. I'm not actually going after Haley, but if you've got a daffodil, it's kind of a no-brainer to give it to her. But Pam, where was Pam? Wait, I know where she is. She's in freaking Georgia. Oh my gosh. And yep, there she was, staring at Joja products she could never afford all day. Honestly, this is the same lady who never pays Gus, so I doubt she'd ever pay Joja either. By 4 p.m., I headed back to the beach to try my luck again, and thank goodness, my very first catch was an eel. That means the only fish I'm missing now for the spring fish collection minus the legend is the halibut. Back at home, I scythe the grass next to my farm to start storing hay in the silo for my future chickens. The only patch of grass I'm not clearing is the central island where I'll be building my coops and barns, so the animals can just graze directly. I went to bed and hit level 5 fishing, choosing the fisher profession so I could earn more money on free Wednesdays at least. Editing Orange here. I know choosing the fisher profession isn't exactly in line with the spirit of the profession challenge, so next time when I hit level 5 or 10, I'll spin the wheel instead. But if I hit level 5 farming, I'll definitely choose rancher, okay? Now back to the video. Day 15. I was greeted with the Mother Catch achievement today, which means I've got 100 fish, even though I'm not even a fisher. It's also the start of salmonberry season, so for today, I plan to frolic through the woods and harvest as many as I could. But before that, I read a letter from Granny Evelyn who reminded me that I know, most crops only grow in why did I say moist? Most crops only grow in one season. I went to check if Robin was finally done building my chicken coop, but she seems to be lagging a lot. I also harvested my cauliflower, finally completing the spring crop bundle. This time, I actually remembered to drop everything off at the community center. In hindsight, I couldn't have finished it back then anyway since I was missing a cauliflower. I guess my subconscious just knew ahead of time. As a reward, I received 20 speed grow, which immediately had me questioning whether I should waste it on parsnips. I also unlocked the boiler room, which is a huge progress for us. On my way home, I checked the bulletin board for quests since I only needed at least 95 gold to purchase a single chicken. But unfortunately, there's no quest for us. I also noticed 2 peculiar question marks on the 16th and 17th. I spent the rest of the day happily frolicking through the woods, picking berries and cursing at one salmon berry that spawned just out of bounds clearly to taunt me. I finished the evening with a bit of fishing, then went to bed and leveled up my farming skill to level 2. Nice! Day 16 started strong. We completed the Raising Animals quest by constructing a chicken coop and got 100 gold. That brought us up to 800 gold, just enough to buy a chicken. Looks like fate was literally telling me to get one today. But of course, we still have to wait till tomorrow, since Marnie was at a Zumba class with Robin and the other women today. Why do they even run their shops if they're never open? So instead, I ran errands. I delivered Joja Cola to Harvey because apparently doctors love soda. Okay, Marvy is already there. I got 75 gold for that and a prize ticket, which I immediately cashed and scored an orange sapling, the first of many for Orange Farm. I planted the orange sapling near the cave for now. I chopped down some trees, crafted a new pink chest for spring stuff, and went salmonberry frolicking again. Oh, this stupid salmon berry is still there. I checked the trash cans around the town as the unofficial trash checker, frolicked the woods, and achieved my ranching dreams now that we have a cook. A rancher dream. I believe. And then, Mr. Quiz mystery boxes appeared. Oh yeah, for those who don't know, Eric Baroni, also known as Concerned Ape, also known as the sole developer of this game, well, he revealed that he pronounced this as Mr. Qui.
Go ahead.
Okay, I say Mr. Quee. Everyone's gonna hate that.
So I don't care what you say. I'm going to say Mr. Qui from now on. Day 17. It's another free Wednesday. While waiting for Marnie to finally do her job, I cleared out more debris around the farm. Then, I finally realized today's also spring 17, which means the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow appears near the waterfalls in Cindersap Forest. And sure enough, it gave us 200 gold and a lovely leprechaun hat. Feeling fabulous, I marched straight to Marnie's and bought my very first chicken. I named her Tori because, well, comment down below if you can guess why I named her Tori. I immediately went home, gave her a pat, and officially declared her the mother of our egg empire. Since it's free Wednesday, I cashed in my hole and went hunting for spring onions in the forest. Later at the beach, I caught a herring with a treasure chest that somehow had an iridium ore? I didn't know that was possible. On the way back, I ran into Elliot, the love of my life, and once again lamented the fact that I didn't have anything nice to give to him. Then I fished a catfish out of the saloon's trash can but had no inventory space, so I panicked and ate 4 salmon berries on the spot. Totally worth it though. I sold off a few more fish, then hurried back to town to dig up the wormies I spotted earlier, only to find a single piece of stone. Disappointing. To shake it off, I went back to the beach to, yep, you guessed it, fish some more. When bubbles spawned near Willie, I rushed over and caught a halibut, which officially means I've got every spring fish except for the legend, of course. That puts me at 25% progress toward the Master Angler achievement. Later that night, Linus got caught rummaging through the trash, and yes, it hurt, but I told him off. Mostly because I didn't like the other dialogue options. Sorry, even though this is Stardew Valley, the lawful good in me is still here. I thought I left it back in BG3. Besides, food from the trash is dirty. I'd rather just give him food than watch him dig through the bin. We ended the day with 142 gold from Free Wednesday, and we also hit level 4 in foraging. Day 18. I watered the crops, petted Garfield, and said hi to Tori, who's already buried in grass like a little nugget. Meanwhile, the cursed salmonberry kept taunting me from out of bounds. Evelyn needed an anchovy, and luckily I had one saved. She paid me 90 gold and reminded me once again why she's everyone's grandma. Meanwhile, Pierre and Maurice were at it with their little price war cutscene. I hated Pierre, but I hate Maurice more. I finally bought the backpack upgrade for 2,000 gold, and so no more trashing precious loot. While I was at it, I picked up new seeds, potato, kale, and 15 parsnips. I planted them all, fertilized the parsnips, and prayed for those sweet gold stars. At some point, I walked right past some wormies I somehow kept missing over and over. Editing Orange was not pleased. Oh my gosh, woman, how could you miss those damn wormies every time? Like, literally, how? It's like right there, you walked over it 1,000,000 times. Honestly, I don't know how. I literally walked over them 1,000,000,000 times. Later, I stopped by Robin's and moved Garfield's bowl closer to the house so I won't forget to water it anymore. I also found a chicken statue, which I donated to Grunter right away. I gave Haley a daffodil because I'm nice like that, and wrapped up the day fishing in the mountains before heading to bed early. Day 19 is another rainy day, which means no watering. I finally get to save some energy for other things. Dad sent me 500 gold, which was nice. Jody also wanted a cauliflower, so good thing we had an extra stashed. But then, disaster struck. I was looking at my second monitor when I misclicked and accidentally destroyed one of my cauliflower plants with a pickaxe. Oh my gosh. Like a true gamer, I restarted the day, Well, let's start again. No, that's the wrong save file. I am not doing well, guys. Out of rage, I aggressively petted Garfield. This is just one of life's many blunders. This time, I held my fishing rod instead of my pickaxe, just to avoid another tragedy. I harvested a green bean, then went to check on little Tori inside the coop. Good, the taunting salmonberry is not there anymore. That's good. Shane asked for a wild horseradish, so I went back to farm to grab one, which was lucky because I'd also forgotten to bring Jodie's cauliflower, so I'm basically hitting two birds with one stone. I gave Jodie the cauliflower and she paid me 350 gold, which is just enough to buy another chicken. Welcome to the family, little Lou! Okay, now we have officially 2 chickens. And I think I'm going straight to pet her. Our little Lou. Lou, skip to my Lou, my little Lou. My little Lou, my darling. Where's our little Lou? Why are you on top of each other? She's so cute. I also wanted to start working on my friendship with Elliot. So, according to my research, he likes fruits. But the only fruit that I have is salmonberry, and he hates them. Oh, Elliot, we've got a long way to go. My backup plan is to craft crab pots and put them in the ocean because lobsters are one of his loved kits. Anyway, I found Shane at Joja, gave him the horseradish, and then dunked on Pam for supporting Joja. And I hit the jackpot. I found a garbage hat in the trash bin outside the museum. Speaking of hats, I kind of want to collect all the hats in the game alongside this challenge. Maybe not officially, but definitely as a side goal. Who knows? After reaching perfection, maybe a cat collection run could be my next big mission. To wrap up the day, I donated some loot to Gunther, grabbed clams and mussels for the crab pot bundle, and finally dove into the mines. I made it to floor 20 with tons of copper and called it a night. Day 20 started with a cauliflower harvest. I watered everything, remembered Garfield's bowl, and petted my growing chickens. Tori officially grew up. Willie asked for 2 largemouth bass, so I headed to the lake, but not before scoring a copper bar straight out of Lewis's trash. I managed to catch the bass and went to the beach to turn them in. On the way, I somehow missed the wormies again. I'm sorry! In the exact same spot as last time. Something about that spot is just invisible to me. But I forgot it was Saturday, so my beach trip was in vain. Where's Willie? Turns out he was fishing in the Cindersap forest. I tracked him down, turned in the bass, and scored a ticket for the prize machine. My prize? Mixed flower seeds. Gee, thanks RNG. After that, I ignored the sunfish frenzy alert and chose instead to chop wood in the forest. I'm not gonna go there. I left my fishing rod. I'm not gonna run and get my fishing rod back. I'm just gonna stay here and quietly chop the wood because I need wood. I almost passed out, but at least I secured some much needed wood. 18. So it's 2, right? 18, 11, 10, 8, 6, 5. Yeah, I know I could have eaten something at that moment, but I just felt like doing some gambling. Unfortunately, maybe due to excessive energy gambling, I completely forgot Shane's birthday today. Sorry Shane, I'll make it up to you next year. Day 21 began with the Queen of Sauce teaching me the recipe for radish salad. I watered the crops as usual, remembered Garfield's bowl, and petted the chickens. Just another round of daily chores. But something new happened. Tori finally laid her first egg! Woo! At last, after all this time, her hard work has paid off in the form of a single egg. Our rancher dream is finally taking shape. With Tori's first offspring kickstarting an egg empire, I happily sold my very first product on a Sunday. No more relying on free Wednesdays, y'all! What a great way to start the week. Linus asked for a sardine, which I already had, so easy money, and that scored me the Gopher achievement. I also finally hoed those wormies that have been haunting me for weeks. Honestly, the thrill of finally acknowledging them was greater than the loot itself. Most of the day was spent on some good old deforestation therapy, chopping down trees along the mountain trail and in the cindersap forest. I collected 300 wood, which let me fix the bridge to the tide pools. But somehow, the moment I repaired it, all the forageables just vanished. I mean, look at this. It's not just me, right? And then came the ultimate betrayal. I meant to pet Garfield goodnight, but accidentally whacked him with my club. Whoops, sorry buddy. The day ended with farming level 3 and our very first egg sale. We earned 50 gold from one small brown egg. In case you're wondering, at this point, we're sitting on a debt of 5,600 gold from the silo, coop, and the purchase of 2 chickens. So let's do the math. Our goal is 100,000 gold plus a loan of 5,600 gold minus 50 gold from our first egg profit. That leaves us with 105,550 gold left to earn. I'll be reporting at the end of every season to update where we stand with our money goals. Day 22, I woke up to rain, which already makes it a good day. Mayor Lewis sent me 500 gold in the mail, recognizing me as the best neighbor. As if anyone else in the village is proactively helping the community. Honestly, this feels more like hush money if you ask me. I harvested parsnips, but only 2 turned out gold quality. That means I still need 3 more for the quality crop bundle. Meanwhile, Lou finally grew up. Both of my chickens are finally laying eggs, and I sold Lou's white egg for 50 gold. I bought 20 more parsnip seeds from Pierre to replace the ones I just harvested, planted them with fertilizer, and prayed to Concerned Ape for some good orangey blessings. I accepted a quest to collect iron ore, but since I haven't even reached the icy floors yet, that's probably not happening anytime soon. Still, I went to the mines and pushed down to floor 30. The night wrapped up with level 3 mining and level 2 combat skill, and of course, the sweet 50 gold from that small white egg I sold this morning. Nothing beats the chime of coins from Stardew Valley's daily cash flow report. Luck was maxed out on day 23. I smelted some copper, watered my crops, and sold another egg before grabbing 5 copper bars and my axe. Thought I could upgrade it today, but turns out Clint wants 2,000 gold, and all my dreams have immediately shattered. Instead, I donated a chewing stick to the museum and got a chicken statue as a reward, which is a perfect decoration for our coop. Then, in true orange fashion, I missed the wormies again. At this point, I think my past self is just trolling me. I dove to the mines and blew past floor 40, got the slingshot, and also finished Clint's iron ore quest at the last second. I found him in the saloon and he paid me 255 gold for the trouble. When I went home, I crafted a purple chest for monster loot and weapons before collapsing into bed. Day 24. Linus sent me the sashimi recipe. Yay! Now I need a kitchen. I harvested my single kale and potato, then watered my parsnips and Garfield's bowl. I then placed the chicken statue outside the coop like a badge of rancher honor. I greeted my chickens with a good morning and sold their eggs, which helped in paying back the loans we took to buy them little by little. They're basically paying for their existence. I also dumped some fish in the bin since it's also Free Wednesday. Today was also the flower dance, and let me tell you, it was tragic. Nobody likes me yet, so I just stood there like an awkward middle schooler at prom. I couldn't even afford a rare crow. So yeah, we're coming back next year with more bling and more riz. After the tragic flower dance, I fished afterward to soothe my bruised ego and found a treasure chest with a dried starfish. I sold the eggs that night for 100 gold. At least my chickens love me. Day 25 was a gold luck day. I watered the crops, petted my chickens, sold an egg, and headed out. I accepted the quest to slay 6 frost jellies, which is easy enough. I donated the dried starfish I got last night to Gunther and scored 9 melon seeds, which will be perfect for the incoming summer season. I finally had enough copper bars to upgrade my axe, so Clint took it off my hands. Straight after, I hit the mines for the Frost Jellies quest. Of course, I forgot to pack food, which is honestly rookie mistake. So, the trip was cut short. But after grabbing some salmon berries from home, I went back in and finished the quest. I pushed to floor 45, where I almost passed out, and Garfield, this little gremlin, decided now of all times is a good time to block my bed. Fortunately, I still managed to crawl in and ended the day with another 50 gold from my egg sales. Day 26, I started the morning strong by harvesting my parsnips, and praise Yoba, we finally got the 5 gold star parsnips for the quality crops bundle. We're now one step closer to unlocking the greenhouse. Then, I headed to the coop to pet my chickens and collect our daily eggs. They're happy, I'm happy, my wallet's happy. On the way to town, I accepted another slime hunter quest, even though I still haven't reported the last one yet. Apparently, Mayor Lewis thinks I deserted the previous mission? Relax, Lewis. I am literally the only one in this town doing your quest. Maybe thank me instead of passively aggressively reposting the quest? I dropped off a few items at the community center and reported to Mayor Lewis about the Slime Hunter quest, earning myself a prize ticket, which I immediately exchanged for 3 mystery boxes. I had Clint crack them open, and one of them had a maple bar, a perfect gift for Sam, whom I am not going for. Nope, I am loyal to Elliot. Sam may be a lover in my past life, but I am living in the now, in the present, where Elliot is our starlight. It was already late, but I still ran into the mines and started at floor 45. The sprites were absolutely bullying me today. Like, why are these little guys stronger than I remember? I finally made it to floor 50 and got the tundra boots. After escaping the mines, I sprinted to town praying Louis was out in public so I wouldn't forget to finish the quest again. And lo and behold, there he was at the saloon on a date with Marnie. I crafted a mayonnaise machine for the coop, tossed an egg inside so it'd be ready tomorrow, and ended the night with level 4 mining and level 3 combat. At this rate, I might eventually stop dying in the mines. Well, at least I hope so. Day 27 begins with glorious news. My copper axe is ready. I can finally deal with the stumps on my land instead of pretending they don't exist. I pet my chickens, collected their eggs, and got our very first mayo. And let me tell you, mayo money is significantly greater than just selling the eggs directly. We're finally starting to get out of the red. I donated an iron bar and a gold bar to the community center, which rewarded me with another furnace. Thanks, Jinimus! Then, I grabbed my copper axe from Clint and rushed home and broke every single stump like crazy. On the way to the beach, I ran into Elliot, my ocean poet, my flowing hair king. I spoke to him, swooned internally, and moved on. I grabbed all the forageables on the beach, then fished at the tide pool docks. And guess what? We hit level 5 foraging and chose the forester profession. Finally, more wood. I also reached level 6 fishing because, of course I did. And that mayonnaise I sold? It gave me 190 gold. Again, huge improvement over selling raw eggs. Day 28. It's the last day of spring. I watched our favorite channel, The Queen of Sauce, which taught me how to cook an omelet. I then harvested the very last batch of green bean. As usual, I visited my chickens, collected their eggs in the processed mayo, and sold a silver large egg and the mayo that we got. Then, I saw some bubbles. And listen, if bubbles appear, it is a legal obligation to fish. I don't make the rules. I donated a large brown egg to the animal bundle and accepted yet another slime hunter quest because Lewis cannot do anything himself. I donated the anchor I fished up yesterday and then went to the mines to slay slimes. I quickly got it done and even reached floor 55. Then, I walked outside and BABOOM! The universe does not want me to talk to Lewis today. Later, I went to the saloon to see if Marnie and Lewis are dating again, but Marnie was alone tonight. So, I guess no scandal sighting today. but it was already past 8 p.m. so I couldn't turn in the quest anymore. Guess I shouldn't have been distracted by the bubbles, huh? I dropped up a few more items to the community center and chopped up some trees to drain the last of my energy. And finally, it's the end of the first season of living in this Riverland farm as a rancher. Before we wrap up this episode, let's take a look at where we stand after finishing our very first season as a rancher on the Riverland farm. First, in terms of ranching progress, we're actually off to a solid start. We built a silo, we built a chicken coop, and we now proudly own 2 hardworking little chickens who are basically funding this entire operation. Now, for the money goals, from animal products alone, we've earned 308 gold, which is cute. But we also spent 4,702 gold on the silo, the coop, and the chickens. So technically, we're still very much in debt. But honestly, that's fine, because this is just the start of our rancher life. And now that our infrastructure is set, summer is where the money starts rolling in. We're looking at more animals, more artisan goods, and basically more profit. So stick around, because next season is where this ranch will really start to pop off. And this is where we end the video. If you've reached this point, thank you so much for watching till the end. I originally wanted to do a 100-day type of video, but my storage space says no. So instead, I decided to release this series season by season. You can also watch the long-cut version of me playing the save in my other channel, MoreOrangeHelium. So, if you want to see every single thing that I did, then feel free to do so. Also, if you like this video, feel free to hit the like button and comment down below what you think about this video. And if you want to help me buy additional storage space for my recordings, please consider subscribing. It's free and you can always unsubscribe later. That's it for now, and goodbye!